35 insane little details in AC Shadow's Attack on Titan update. And big thank you to Assassin's Creed for sponsoring this video. The brand new cosmetic pack lets you get this outfit for Naue, and if you've watched AOT, you'll immediately recognize this as the Survey Corps. But look a little closer, especially at this red scarf, and you'll realize the whole thing is based on Mikasa. The pack also includes a brand new weapon called the Snap Blade, which is essentially the sword from ODM gear. She even pulls this thing out of a compression tank, and once she does so, it'll even let out some steam. As for Yasuke, his outfit is also taken from the show, letting you wear this armor inspired by the Colossal Titan. It looks absolutely insane, especially with his glowing eyes. And once you equip this in-game, you'll walk around steaming with electricity, which is exactly what happens after they transform into Titans in the show. And these details go even further, as you can get a trinket which is this familiar looking syringe. Yeah, it's a spinal fluid injection, and it's the exact same syringe used by many characters to create or experiment on Titans. But one of the most heartbreaking details belongs to this horse armor in the set. As you can see, it'll give your horse some nice Survey Corps garments, except if you read the description, this isn't just any horse. It says he misses his former rider, whose love for him was only matched by her love of potatoes. Yeah, Ubisoft really put Sasha's horse in the game, and honestly, we all miss her too. But one of the coolest parts of this entire update is how AC Shadows included a free quest that you can play right now. This thing is up to an hour long, and it'll give you a ton of rewards alongside plenty of details for Attack on Titan fans. It's called Beyond the Wall, and you can find it here at this location, letting you track down a dead Survey Corps soldier to begin your journey. Now, eventually it'll take you into this underground cave network, and you'll quickly realize that this is a perfect recreation of the Crystal Caves from Season 3 of the anime. In fact, your mission will be to rescue a character who has been chained up. And yeah, it's pretty much identical to how Eren was chained up in these exact same caves. Now, once you get close enough to him, you can look around this whole area and really appreciate just how accurate this is to the episode. But it is still not as cool as the secret statue you can find in this room. By heading off the beaten path and taking this leap of faith, you can fight off a bunch of enemies that'll lead you straight to a huge crystal statue. This is based on a scene from Season 3 when Eren hardens his Attack Titan, and it looks like this. And this gets even better. If you head to the chest at the bottom of the statue, you can actually collect it for yourself. This unlocks it as a decoration for your outpost that you can place anywhere you want outdoors. As you can see, this thing looks amazing in your back garden. And if the Attack on Titan update makes you want to jump into the world of Shadows, you can buy the standard edition of the game right now for less than $35. This is part of Ubisoft's limited time holiday sale, and these are all the dates for each platform on screen. So you guys better make sure you don't miss out on this deal. But let's head back to the AOT quest, because the crystal statue isn't the only reward hiding. Throughout the entire cave network, you could find a ton of chests, letting you unlock banners for the Training Corps, Military Police, Garrison, and Scout Regiment. All 4 of these will go straight to your outpost, and honestly, they look pretty great next to the statue. You might also have noticed that these new characters are from a country we've never seen in the game. Even Naue says,
"They don't look Portuguese though."
Now, this is an intentional detail, because all the characters who live on Paradis Island in the show are actually European and Germanic. Well, aside from a handful of people like Mikasa, who is half Asian. But the fact they incorporated this into the story is kind of insane. And one of the craziest parts of this whole mission is when you're running from the Titan boss. He starts quickly chasing after you, and I bet you'll recognize his iconic run. Now, he's pretty fast, and it's easy to get caught by this guy, so Ubisoft went all out with a secret cutscene. Now, this one is just extra cool because it's similar to how Titans attack in the show. One example being when Annie smacks Armin off his horse. So by now you're probably wondering, what is your final reward for finishing this quest? Well, anyone who beats it will be given one of the coolest items in the game, the Cavern Shard Katana along with its engraving. This is a totally original weapon inspired by the Crystal Caves, and once you equip it, Naue's arm will become fully hardened just like tons of characters in the show. And at the very end of the quest, only true fans will notice 2 hidden details in the final cutscene. Ada says,
"Someone back home once said, a person who can't sacrifice anything will never change anything."
Which is actually a paraphrase version of when Armin said this to Eren.
何も捨てることができない人には何も変えることはできないだろう。
And to give things the final bow, they even end the mission with the iconic Survey Corps salute. And this update didn't just bring fans Attack on Titan content. Ubisoft actually changed how parkour works, and people are obsessed with the new abilities. There's a ton of brand new mechanics, and you can enable it by going into the menu and turning on advanced parkour. Now you're able to do insanely complex stuff, but with fluid movement, like catching yourself on a ledge. Say you jump from a tall height and need to break your fall, well now you can actually do that. Or what about side ejecting, a new way to jump sideways or backwards to get new leaps that were never possible before. And there's also a vertical ledge grab, which seems simple at first, but truly unlocks more fluid movement. And my favorite part about these changes is that all of these are now in-game ready to use for free. However, if you're used to the old ways, you could just keep them turned off so it doesn't ruin your flow. But a true hidden detail can be found in the beautiful open world. I mean, this game is incredibly gorgeous, and you can really feel the atmosphere. So whenever you're wandering through a war-torn area, or a place destroyed in battle, you can literally spot the rivers turning red with blood. But on a different note, if you're the one covered in red, you could walk into clean water and wash it off. Which is especially useful if you're leaving bloody footprints everywhere. But not all secrets are useful, some are just realistic enough for most players to miss. Like, if you use a weapon or throw a kunai, you can actually tear holes in nearby cloth. It is such a small attention to detail that you just gotta appreciate the work that went into it. Especially when you're wandering around the many farms in Japan and can actually see the NPCs react to the season. After all, nothing is more important to a farmer than the weather. And in the spring, you will see them planting, then for summer they'll harvest their crops. And if you're wondering what happens in winter, well, there's really nothing that they can do. And that's not the only hidden detail, because the season will affect what produce is available for sale too. You can actually go to markets and spot different vegetables depending on the time of year, which is honestly just crazy to me. And truthfully, some details are straight up adorable. Now sure, there is tons of wildlife in the game, but it's even better when you realize that baby animals can also appear. They'll almost always stick with their parents for safety, and even run away if you get too close. But the insects flying around the map are also equally as realistic. Now, you never get close enough to appreciate this, but you can literally see butterflies, bees, and grasshoppers fully modeled. Nature just feels so alive in this game, to the point where leaves fall from trees in real time. And I bet you had no idea that you could actually block arrows with your sword. And yeah, hitting them at the perfect angle will even slice them into pieces. You know, just in case you wanted to truly feel like one of Japan's greatest samurai. Just make sure you keep yourself clean, because AC Shadows usually involves a ton of sneaking around or dodging enemies. While you're super busy doing that, you might find yourself rolling around in a lot of dirt, and that means your clothes are gonna get filthy, especially the white outfits. To the point where you could basically turn your white garments into gray ones. However, the same thing happens if you roll around in snow, you'll just get it all over yourself. And while we're on the topic of cold weather, this has a huge effect on the game's world. After all, it does get chilly enough to see your own breath. So, during the colder seasons, most NPCs will add layers and wear extra clothes made of straw just to keep themselves warm. And those who don't have the extra set, well, they'll actually get cold, and you could even see them shivering sometimes. If you really want to mess with the NPCs though, you can steal their boats. Now, most people will hop on and drive it themselves. But you could go even further by throwing a kunai and leaving a single hole inside the boat. Damage it one more time, either by crashing into land or throwing another weapon, and the boat will straight up sink. Great job, now you gotta swim back. Although, some insane details can be extremely useful, like knowing that enemies do have the potential to take each other out. If they fire at you and the angle is just right, they could actually miss and basically kill their friends instead. You gotta love friendly fire sometimes, but what about your friends? After all, when you're playing as Yasuke, you are a full-blown samurai that comes with a ton of respect and honor. That's why when exploring the open world, you'll get a ton of random NPCs simply bowing to you just for existing. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it does feel extremely nice and really adds to the experience. And those were insane details hiding in AC Shadows, and thank you again to Assassin's Creed for sponsoring this video. It's been Sammy, keep it here on T5G.